Yeah, you notice I'm not alone again on this one.
Hey.
This is Number1Geek.
Well, it had done.
It's what the name he's gonna go by when he does his stuff. This is episode 14. A job for Jimbo. This was stupid.
I don't know how you convinced me to watch this show. I don't know how.
You haven't seen the worst. You've seen a pretty bad episode, but you haven't seen the worst. So this episode involves. Let me bring it up so we can get an idea of. So the episode involves Dub introduces the kids to this like veteran singer he loves, and
I gotta say, I have never seen a kid with blonde hair this dumb. Like, if you find like a definition of dumb blonde in a dictionary, that's probably that kid.
Yeah, Hudson hit an all-time low in this episode. A new low, I should say. And you thought, like, the way he acted when he was dressed up as a girl in Girl Power Awards was bad. Yeah, so he desperately wants to do a duet with her because she inspired him to become a rapper. So what ends up happening is she asks them to hire her step-grandson in order to her 22-year-old step-grandson as a favor, and then she'll agree to do Dub agrees to all this, obviously, without any of their consent, because that he's impulsive like that, and that's how he goes. And so then they do hire the kid. They do hire the kid, and he is a complete and total imbecile. I mean, and it's just insulting the way that, like, they're purposely making him obnoxious, and it doesn't come off it comes off completely intentionally. In other cases, you could sort of say maybe they were sort of blissfully ignorant in that matter, but no, you can't say that that's the case.
Oh no,
here.
Definitely not. He's probably useless when it comes to jobs, and no wonder he sits on his ass on his step-grandmother's couch all day, because he's so fucking useless.
He yells out his name, like, whenever he says it or something, and then he constantly, like, I admit, he got one laugh out of me in the episode. When Babe asks for ice in her cup, and he takes a bag of ice and dumps it straight onto her. I admit, I chuckled.
I have done a bunch of ice on my job, but never something like that. And especially it gave me a chuckle a little bit of, like, how he, like, fires, like, 4 days or 2 days because he got fired.
Yeah, like, that also was... he was so obnoxious. And then, like, they finally pushed him to the breaking point that they actually do fire him, and he doesn't care. And then, like, later on when they're trying to rehire him, he does care again.
And the way how they, like, approach him, it's like, I'm sorry, but you're fired. And he would look at them for, like, a second and, like, okay, all right. And then, like that.
Yeah, so they, that's, surprisingly enough, something that bothered me a little more was the classroom scene. They have the teacher is instructing them on how I guess condensation works.
Yeah, that is a really good blackboard in that show, like an iPod version.
It's cool, but it's stupid. And then also the kid says, I remember, like, when they're trying to rehire Jimbo, he says, like, I don't really want a job. I want to just stay at home and become famous through social media. That is everything that is wrong. Not only with everything that's fucking wrong, not only with Snyder's Bakery now, but it's also everything that's wrong with pretty much anything you can think of. Now, granted, yes, we do rely heavily on social media. Hey, I make YouTube videos to try and get famous off of them. But at the same time, we gotta know there's a point where, like, we can't have it in every aspect of our life and rely on it to be able to give us fame and popularity. It's, unless you're really doing something that you can support, that you can use to support yourself with it, it's not practical to rely on it. Like, it was like the line in the episode How to Rock a Fashion Victim, which I think that's a good episode of How to Rock. But at the same time, when she in the beginning,
I never watched How to Rock.
Yeah, the beginning of the episode, she says that like her parents want her to get a job at her uncle's carpet cleaning business and her mother said, and she says because her mother said, I can't rely on a career as a world famous pop diva. It's not practical, and she says it like she thinks her mother's crazy, which. Yeah, I gotta admit that, like, yeah, that's the lesson she's learning in the episode, that she can't think she's gonna be good at everything she does. And that episode does it well. In this episode, that's not what the moral is. I have no fucking idea what the moral is for this episode. I really don't. I'm kind of racking my brain. And the classroom scene irritated the shit out of me.
And
it completely took me out of the show, in which, like, he charges in to yell at them for firing Jimbo, and so then the teacher's telling him, you can't just come in, and then the bodyguards come in, and he immediately, like, clams up and, like, is nice about it because he doesn't want the bodyguards to beat the shit out of him. And so then Bunny and Ruthless, they prompt the kids to go to recess. I admit, when he yelled recess, I chuckled again. The point where
kind of reminds me of, like, Jack Black and the School of Rock, and I say recess.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a reference directly to that.
And also, when they were playing Tetherball, and the teacher like comes in and was like, "That's not how you play Tetherball. You grab the Tetherball." And then for some reason,
they forced the teacher to come out and play Tetherball with that, which we don't see obviously. And then we see him come in, and he's like, they're chasing him with the Tetherball, and he's like screaming and yelling in horror.
With a bow and arrow. I don't know if you...
I chuckled at that part too.
Yeah, I was looking at it, it was like...
Because it was just so freaking insane that, like, it wasn't actually... it was just so unbelievable that was the length they were going to for a joke.
And also, when, like, Kel Mitchell, just, like, started crying onto the desk and, like, wiped his tears with, like, $500 of money, I was thinking to myself, this is definitely not your comeback right here, buddy. I love you and all that and Kenan and Kel, but no.
Yeah, he has a history with Dan Schneider. That's his primary reason for agreeing to the show full time.
Which, but I have to admit, he is a pretty good rapper. I have to give it that.
He's a good rapper, and yeah, he's a good actor too, and he's shown that, like, he can sort of transcend the material no matter how bad it is. And at the same time, and even if he can't really, he just, like, he comes off still semi-decent because, like, he's just doing whatever he wants with it. So yeah, like, they realize, Babe and Kenzie realize how important it is, and they beg. He reduces them to begging
in a bowl of noodle soup.
Yeah,
with a spoon for.
I don't know if that was a reference to. And I don't know if that was a reference to Mindy's Back from Drake and Josh or not.
And especially when they asked her, "Do you need a fork?" and Jimbo was like, "It's bowl of soup. What kind of an idiot eats a bowl of soup with a fork?" And I was thinking to say, "You're eating noodles, you fucking idiot."
Yeah, so I think the biggest, obviously, aside from just being extremely stupid, the biggest crime of this particular episode is that it's predictable. And granted, yes, a lot of stuff you can very easily predict what's going to happen, but at the same time, it's so unbelievably, obviously predictable. I mean, like, you know exactly where this episode's going to go by the end when they're sitting in that booth and when the manager is pulling out earplugs and putting them in his ears. You know it's going to be revealed that now earplugs in, she is a horrible singer.
Yeah.
And that it is not going to be be rewarding to dub in any way, which also as well makes the episode pointless.
Yeah, I also predicted the second the manager puts the earphones in, it's a sign that she's not the greatest RBM singer that he knows. Or
the fact is, like, over time, like, and as well as that, because of surgeries she's had done, that, like, her voice is completely shot and she doesn't even know it.
Yeah, the entire time when she was like singing, I thought I was going deaf. I thought I was going deaf.
Yeah, and then, like I said, right from the beginning of the episode, when Trip asks Hudson to grab the trash and to put it into the tank where they have all the smelly garbage, you know exactly where it's going to go. He's going to grab something that is not meant to go in there and throw it in. And sure enough...
And also,
granted, it should have been pretty obvious that it was going to end up being something at Tripp's, his backpack.
That was so dumb.
Yeah, and then the...
and also, the man pouch.
Yeah, that was...
The way how they, like...
I don't even know what to say about that.
Let's just say where the pouch is. That is where the bell is, and...
Yeah, they make this very, like... They're kind of, like, make it, he's got to put his hands right near where his...
I don't know, I was like, oh, God, you're doing this shit. Oh, God.
I'm not... I almost, like, I heard this, and I heard this concept. I read the concept for this episode, and I was thinking to myself, well, then, if this gets the bottom of the bakery, then the Bizarro I could actually see being I Hire an Idiot, even though I Hire an Idiot sucked.
Believe me, I have worked with people who's not much of an idiot, but have less experience. But Jimbo has no experience and no way how to deal with jobs whatsoever.
I certainly hope that you're not referring to anybody you're currently working with now.
Oh, no, definitely not. No, we got rid of those people months ago.
So, yeah, like I said, the episode's also predictable. Like, it was, from the moment that they have this big yellow tube that they're trying to drain the water out of, exactly where it's going to go. That it's going to go, that it's going to end up getting turned on and sucking into, and getting stuck on Trip's head.
And it comes out with a really good eraser head. It really does.
And among other things in the episode, they have a delivery guy show up in the beginning. The delivery guy is actually maybe one of the few adult characters in the show that actually comes off with decency. And he's...
And the way how he, like, runs after, like, Kill Mitchell to tell him to get out, it's like... Okay, that was kind of cartoony.
Yeah, so I'm... And also, there's a point in the episode where... What the fuck? They come into the room, and he's in a tub!
Well, yeah, I was like,
he's in
what is going on?
Fucking bathtub, taking a fucking bubble bath. So... And I admit that... there were a few points where just because, like, it caught me off guard that I chuckled. Like, when they're telling him to stop taking a bath, and he's about to get out of the tub, and they, like... Tell him, no, don't get out of the damn tub when you're naked.
Yeah, it's a Nick show. They're not ready for it yet. They're not ready for it.
So then so everything... And then they have, everything Hudson does in the episode. He's being stupid for the sake of being stupid. That's just pretty much his character. He's stupid for the sake of stupid. And I just really wish that, like, they get to a point where they wouldn't... I know that they have a history with Dan Schneider, Nick, and they he's more than willing to keep cranking out their shows for him. But they need to get him to they either need to stop hiring him to make shows for them, or they need to get him to do other stuff. Stop recycling his own idea. Like I said, this company's become Happy Madison at this point. Happy Madison continuing to just cycle.
Yeah, the way how
continuously.
The way how, like, Dan Schneider makes his shows now, it makes Adam Sandler movies look 10 times more better than what the shows he's currently working on.
Yeah, and, like, I remember, like, not liking Pixels when I first saw it, and like, yeah, I've seen it 3 other times since, but at the same time, like, after the fourth time I saw Pixels, I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, I could see how it could have worked, but then at the same time, they didn't want it to work because they didn't care. They didn't put the effort into making it work. Points of it did work, but at the same time, it was doomed from the start because they had no ambition to make it better than it was. And this, like I said, this show, it's not ambitious. It has no ambition. It just simply throws shit at the wall. And for the sake of throwing shit at the wall. So we're about out of time, so that's it for this episode. We'll see you guys next time.
This show sucks.
It does.